Aloha, and welcome to this episode of the Hawaii Smooth Jazz Connection. I am your host, Gwendolyn Harris. My guest today is a saxophonist who is a native of Galveston Island, Texas, who brings a fresh perspective to the new era of contemporary jazz. His latest single, All In, is climbing the charts. I am so happy to have him on the show today. Let's welcome Mr. Justin Lancaster to the show. Aloha, Justin, how are you?
Hi, Gwendolyn. I'm well. How about yourself? Thanks for having
I
me.
am hanging in there. I'm doing well. I got you here with me today. What's been going on with you?
Oh man, what has not been going on? Gosh, where to start, man? Just welcome in a new baby girl in the world. Thank you, about 2 weeks ago. So very sleep deprived, but it's the best deprivation that you can have, right? So there's no bigger joy than welcoming a new family member. So, gosh, man, that working on new music, sheesh, man, where to start, where to finish with all this? It's a lot, but I wouldn't have it any other way, and here I am. So,
Well, we are glad to have you here, and we're going to get this show started. So, what or who inspired you to play music?
oh wow, great question. Well, I'll just say this: I'd have to put two people on that roster. Just tell you, I was raised in the kind of straight ahead jazz, and for me, it was John Coltrane. Just the freedom of expression really opened my ears up to kind of what can be done on a saxophone, right? But I have to say, going a little bit farther up in the years, contemporary jazz, as we know it, I mean, Grover Washington was my other inspiration, man. I think, gosh, I got a CD of his, and man, that thing. I'm surprised I didn't ride the wheels off that thing because I absolutely studied, transcribed every single track, and yeah, man, I feel like I wouldn't be here if I hadn't heard Grover Washington. So
So, what's your favorite song of Grover Washington?
you know what? This is going to be a strange one, but I like his rendition of Michael Jackson's. I can't help it. That's so beautiful. He's on soprano on that one, and just it has a real nice flow to it. It has a bossa nova type of feel, and probably one of his lesser known tunes. But man, very beautiful tune.
Nice. Now, do you play any other instruments?
I do. So I play a little bit of keys. Actually, I wanted to play drums. I played drums growing up. I had several drum sets. And you know what? When I got in band, they said, man, we've got a long waiting list of people wanting to get into the percussion section. So you're gonna have to settle on something else. So kind of looked around, trumpets were taken, and gosh, man, alto sax it was. So here I am.
Now, you have two singles out. Your first single is entitled "Without a Doubt," right? And then the latest one, I love both of your singles, but the latest one I absolutely love, and that is entitled All In. And you worked with a very, I want to say, legendary person on that single, on that track. Tell us about that and what inspired that title, All In.
Sure. So, I work with Greg Manning, which I think is no stranger to the contemporary jazz genre. And, I'd heard Greg's name more as a producer, really before I heard him as an artist. And, all these number one singles, and I really liked his style because he's a master of his craft in that he just, no track of his ever sounds the same between different artists. I think he's somebody that takes what an artist does well, takes their strengths and listens to what they do and builds the track based on that. And so, gosh, man, I gotta tell you, such a pleasure to work with him. An amazing artist, but an even better person, man. We just had a really fun time in this creative process. I think, when you think about the title All In, it's really, you're going all in. You're leaving it, all on the table at that point. And for me, this was it. I kind of wanted to show the world, what I could do on this instrument. And Greg did a great job. We thought, hey, why don't we kind of mix some of those decades of music up? Our first thought was, man, he said, you sound a little bit like kind of like Sanborn in a way. And he said, cook up something that's a little reminiscent of his Voyeur album. And but when you listen to this track, it's also got a lot of those elements of the '90s, 2000s contemporary jazz scene. If you were listening to something like Gerald Albright, and so when you listen to it, it's got something I think that relates to a lot of different types of people, a lot of different broader audience, right? And so when you think of all in, it's really, hey, we're going all in on this track, and we're going to try to be as authentic as we can, right? We wanted to try to do this in as few takes as possible, and make sure what is coming from the heart and soul, right? And that's what you hear on the track.
So now I don't want to say we're out of this pandemic yet because we're still there, but things are opening up a lot, which is amazing. And I know you artists are glad that that's happening. So during the pandemic, what did you do to keep sane?
You know, yeah, gosh, man, that is a really good question. So, for me, that was actually the start of all this. That was the start of all this. I was a new artist that really, really badly wanted to get into contemporary jazz. For any of those indies like myself out there, they know, it's a massive undertaking because, all facets of this music thing, aside from being the artist, right? Aside from production, you've got the business side of it that you've got to take care of, getting all that stuff set up, getting the label set up. So, I've got this label now, it's South Heights Sounds. And, that was kind of the start. I started working on my craft. I think at that point, yeah, I still, even to this day, I'm still barely scratching the surface of what can be done in this horn, but I really started working hard, started running through all my books, all my exercises as much as possible. That kept me busy, man, because yeah, with my job and especially with music, it was a little weird. It was weird just being home all day. And I said, for me, the main goal is, man, I'm not going to come out of this pandemic in worse shape than when I entered it, right? So for me, I wanted to try to do control the things that I could control, right? Which was, hey, practicing, working on, hey, what outlets do I need to go to? Who do I need to talk to find out this, that, and the other? So it was a one big, all these pieces of the puzzle kind of coming together slowly but surely over that period of time. And, man, it ended up working out in my favor because, gosh, what do you do when you have that much time? Well, practicing, but the other part is listening to a lot of music, including, listening to yourself and trying to figure out, who you are, who am I as a saxophonist? What is my sound? And gosh, man, for me, despite, the sadness of it all, I'm a guy that tries to see the glass half full. And that's what I did, man. I went through it and it just was relentless every day. I had a schedule and I just kind of stuck to it, man, and flash forward to now, here we are. So.
Now, you talked about sound, right? Because there's so many saxophonists out there, all right? What sets your sound apart from everyone else? What makes you different?
If I had to sum it up, I would say it's probably a combination of two things. Obviously, a saxophone it's got a very sweet, a very, seductive sound to it, right? But I also try to incorporate outside of that a little bit of funkiness to it. Where I'm from, man, I grew up with what we call second line bands, and for anyone from the South, that when you talk about Mardi Gras, that's synonymous with second line bands. And so, aside from that, I was in a high step and marching band, and so we played a lot of radio tunes, a lot of pop tunes, right? And so I try to incorporate a lot of that, that R&B, that pop, that hip hop into my sound to make it interesting, because I think there's something to be said about someone who can really sound extremely good just from a sound standpoint. But, playing is the other thing, not trying to play a ton of notes, but at the same time, freedom of expression. And that's always what I try to do on the saxophone is get that freedom of expression. I want the listener to really hear what's in here and what's in here. Right. And that's kind of the goal. So I think that's kind of what separates me from the rest, what makes me different.
Okay. All right. Now we're going to have some music listeners or saxophonists out there What brand of saxophone do you use?
You know what? Right now, I probably should say this, but I'm not endorsed just yet. But you know what? I'm using a Cannonball Big Bell. And, came from gosh, man, I played Yamahas my whole life. Yeah, it's kind of just one of those things that everyone's different, right? When you're finding a sound on the saxophone, no two saxophone players are alike, and you really have to find the sax that resonates best for you. Someone might pick up a horn that I consider to be the best horn I've ever played and say, "Man, this horn sucks," and that's okay. That's the beauty of it all. Everyone's different, so.
So I want some people to know that a lot of times people think that musicians, that's all they do is just play music, right? They don't realize, and you and I talked about this earlier, they don't realize that some musicians have other jobs, right? So, do you have another job, and what is it?
Sure. Yeah. So there's no secret about it. Look, if you want to be successful in this business, sometimes it does require great sacrifices. Obviously it can be hard when you're starting out, right? So for me, my day job, my full-time day job, I am a medical device salesperson slash territory manager, and so I manage the state of New Mexico and El Paso, Texas, kind of my area, and work with a lot of great doctors. Very fortunate to do what I do, work with the people that I work with, and I'm a people person, and so just being able to interface with people and gosh, man, take them out to lunch. Hopefully, they buy my products. Hopefully, that's I would say that's another passion of mine. I definitely couldn't be doing both of these simultaneously if I did love both of them. So.
What or who would be your dream collaboration? Who would you love to collaborate with? Somebody that you haven't done yet. You've already done the master, Greg Manning. Who would you love to collaborate with next?
Oh, there's a lot of great artists out there. Gosh, both young and old. And I'd have to say for me, it would be Norman Brown because, when I was in band and we were first kind of being introduced into contemporary jazz, I stumbled across Norman Brown's one of his older albums back on the Mojazz label, and my gosh, man, that album just blew me away. Another one of those albums just had on repeat all the time. Just instantly kind of fell in love with Norman's sound, but also his ability to move through different keys. Just the ideas that he put out there for listeners to hear was so different. Instead of, contemporary jazz, some people think about, hey, something really, really, really slow. And it doesn't necessarily have to always be that. I felt like Norman Brown was always talking to me directly through the speakers. And so, man, gosh, who knows? Never say never, but Norman Brown would probably be the first guy I would have that dream collab with. So.
Okay, well, you speak that into existence. Just speak it into existence. Now, I do have some more questions for you, but I think our audience really wants to hear a little something, something from you.
Do it.
Can you do that?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay. I guess you could not see me, but I was here jamming. I was just here jamming.
You and me both. You and me both.
Just jamming. Yeah, I see you were getting into it too. I loved it, loved it, loved it. Thank you so much for that. Now, where is your what favorite place, or where is your dream place that you would like to perform?
You know what, Gwendolyn? I know you're thinking that probably I'm just going to butter you up, but it has always been Hawaii. I just didn't know Hawaii had quite the jazz scene that they do. And of course, a buddy of mine who Jesse Thompson, aka Jazz, kind of put me onto that. And man, I was pleasantly surprised because what's better than going on vacay, listening to smooth jazz, man? I mean, in Hawaii of all places, that's the dream destination. So, oh yeah, far, no doubt, no doubt.
Now we just have a few more minutes to go, but I have a few more questions. What new projects, if any, are you working on? What should I be putting on my calendar?
Well, so the next project is a big one, and that is the album. So we're going to have an 11-track album. Obviously, you guys have kind of heard a few of the offerings that will all be on the album. The album is going by the title Nightcap. So you get the gist that, hey, this is going to be one of those wind down kind of things, right? Kind of my idea is you're on a rooftop, the sun's setting, you've got a glass of wine in your hand, and man, what's better than listening to jazz to make your day better? So Nightcap is going to feature a lot of great artists. Gosh, man, we've got a lot of great producers on there. We talked about Greg Manning. We've got Ollie Silk on there. Looking to feature quite a few big names on there, ranging from people like Adam Hawley, Ollie Silk, Lynn Roundtree. Maybe we'll have Greg Manning on there as well. But that's what I'm working on right now, and just trying to make it the best that it possibly can be. For me, I don't want to put anything out there that's not at the level that I see it or I need it to be at, to be able to live with it, right? So.
Well, I'm looking forward to that when it comes out. What advice would you give to a new artist that's coming into this industry? And I know I don't want to say you're fairly new, but you're coming on to the scene. But if you look back to tell somebody else that's coming on, what would you tell them?
You know what? It's like Nike, man. Just do it. You cannot overthink this thing. We have, and unfortunately, not a lot of people know this, but man, for every one great radio artist out there, I'm a believer that there is 10 extremely talented, no name, maybe not artists, but they're up and coming artists. And a lot of times, if you're like me, you always let all those hurdles intimidate you because there's so many obstacles, right, to go through to get here. And I think sometimes people can psych themselves out, but man, just start it, take it one day at a time. And honestly, man, don't overthink it. Just do it. And you know what? Later on, you worry about all that other stuff. You can worry about, hey, I wish I would have had this production, or I wish I would have had this sound. You can iron all that out. But, one of the greatest things is once your body of work is out there, it's out there. And it's definitely something to be proud of. So the only way you get there is, again, just do it.
That's great advice. That's perfect advice, because I work with a lot of artists, and I love working with the newer artists. I love it. I just love it, love it, love it, because like you said, for every one, there's 10 other ones, right? So yeah, I'm with you on that one for sure. I have one last question for you, and then we'll have to go, and then I'm going to have to do a part 2 with you as well, because there's so much that I want to cover with you. But this last question is, where can the viewers go to find your music?
Yeah, so first off, it's available on all streaming platforms. anywhere you find and can purchase music, it's going to be there. So Apple Music, you want to buy it, it's on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Tidal, the list goes on and on. You can visit my website, jlancastersax.com. Now, it is currently undergoing a little bit of maintenance, and I'll just share a quick little detail with you. This is actually some of the new merch we're looking at putting onto the website. So if you can see that, that is my logo. And that's got a big J, right? And it's got the saxophone kind of. So here, see that? Let me see if I can, boom. I've got a real nice one too. It's got the big J saxophone on the back, and it's a black one with black and gold. So we're gonna have a lot of different colors coming out, but man, gosh, everything down from coffee mugs to hats. I really wanted to make sure that everything I put my brand, my name on, is always of high quality. So you can rest assured, something that you get to support this cause. I think you're really going to dig it. So.
Wow. Well, Justin, I thank you so much for being here with me today. Again, we're going to have to do a part 2. We're definitely going to have to do a part 2 with you. But thank you. Best wishes to your future endeavors, because I know you're going to go far. I know that. I definitely know that. I got that feeling.
I appreciate it, Gwendolyn. Thank you so much for having me. And hey, I'm looking forward to the next one already. So.
Oh, yes. We have to get you to Hawaii.
Oh, yeah.
Most definitely. To my viewers, thank you so much for tuning in today. Until next time, aloha and God bless.
Thank you so much for watching ThinkTech Hawaii. If you like what we do, please like us and click the subscribe button on YouTube and the follow button on Vimeo. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and donate to us at thinktechhawaii.com. Mahalo.